What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well, and welcome back to another episode of Pass or Yes. If you are new here, this is a series I do on my channel where I go through all of the newest, the hottest, the tastiest, and the most tempting new makeup releases on social media, and I let you guys know, is it gonna be a pass or is it gonna be a yes? So if you wanna chill out with me and talk about some new makeup releases today, have a little bit of fun, then keep watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, friends. I will link any of the products that I mentioned today that are already available in that description box down below. I do use affiliate links, so shopping through my links is a great way to support my channel. And if you are new here, welcome, welcome. My name is Sophia, and I am a complete luxury beauty addict. I upload videos every single week. Videos like this, favorites videos, ranking videos, and a lot of new makeup reviews. So if that is your jam, hit that subscribe button to join our fam. And without further ado, let's dive in. I'm gonna be scooching over so I can insert some images of the makeup we're gonna be talking about today. And as always, I usually link the Instagram accounts that I follow here in the description box in case you want to give them a follow as well. All right, party people, let's just cut to the chase. We gotta talk about the new Pat McGrath Mothership XI Sunlit Seduction. This is a very controversial release, at least here in the beauty community where we care a lot about these things. As is typical, last week Mother teased us with a bunch of cryptic images on her Instagram page, signaling that she was going to be launching something big. We saw a horse running on the beach in the sunset. A lot of people were like, ooh, is this going to be a new mothership? We're kind of due for a new mothership. What's the color story going to be? Please don't make it pink. Please don't make it pink. When I saw this, I thought, okay, it's probably not going to be super colorful, but maybe it's going to be like sunset tones, kind of like Natasha Denona sunset palette, sunrise palette. I love those palettes. I love a good warm tone palette. It's one of my favorite types of color stories. But then, friends, I saw the box. I saw the packaging for this palette, and I noticed that there were roses on the box, and I said, oh my goodness, if this is another Divine Rose palette. I don't even know, Pat. Like, I'm so done with the Divine Rose. I can appreciate it. I like the palettes, but I really don't need a Divine Rose 3 right now. But a lot of people pointed out that there was a lot of purple on the packaging as well. So we thought, oh, okay, like maybe it's gonna be like a purple palette. That would be really pretty. I don't even have that many purple palettes in my collection, so that definitely intrigued me. And then we got this. This is what we got. A very nude, Pillow Talk-esque, Huda Beauty, pinky palette. And a lot of people were disappointed by this. It's a beautiful palette. I think it is a beautiful palette. I cannot deny it. It's going to be very wearable, but a lot of people were disappointed, and I absolutely understand why. In fact, when I polled you guys on my Instagram stories, this was the interest level that was expressed. So many of you DM'd me and said you were disappointed by this. You felt like it was super repetitive. In fact, one of you sent me this image. Thank you, by the way. You know who you are. You sent me this image for my Pass or Yes to show me kind of the similarities in a lot of the palettes that she has launched. Can you pick out the new palette in this image? I could, but it did take me a second. It did take me a second to find this amongst all of them. A lot of people said they thought this looked like Utopian Dream, or kind of like a mixture between Utopian Dream and maybe like one of the Divine Rose palettes. I get it. It really does remind me of kind of like a Huda Beauty palette. What does she have? Like the New Nudes or the Naughty Nudes. It reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury. The colors look beautiful, but it's definitely been done before. I would be interested in seeing just like a regular image, or kind of seeing this in person, obviously, because the images that we have here so far in the swatches, they're very like digitally created Photoshop types of images. A lot of times I don't really appreciate the palette until I see it in person, until I play around with it. This is going to be a yes from me, because I collect these palettes and because I do think it's beautiful, but I totally share your sentiment, friends, or at least a lot of you out there who were disappointed by this and you just wanted something fun from Pat McGrath. Now, I wanted to kind of create a little bit of a discussion and also read you something when I was doing some research the other day, because I heard a lot of people say, you know, I'm disappointed in Pat McGrath. She's not listening to her audience. She really isn't listening to the feedback that her fans are giving calling her, some people were referencing her as kind of like a small brand or an indie brand. And I actually wanted to read you an article from the Business of Fashion that came out earlier this year. I was trying to do some research on, how big of a brand is Pat McGrath? Who are her investors? Because when I see this palette, to me, it just screams number one, recession, number two, private equity takeover. Like, this just screams, I'm trying to get my investors a good return on their investment. I'm trying to increase sales. I think a lot of people, they kind of think of Pat McGrath as like a very makeup artisty brand, maybe a little bit more of an indie brand. But the fact of the matter is, friends, Pat McGrath is not an indie brand. And a lot of us who are out there who are like really into makeup and pay attention to all the releases, all those things, we think that we are her core target customer. And I think, like, at least in my opinion, we're not. Like, we're not her target customer. She is in so many Sephora stores. Pat McGrath is mainstream. Like, she is appealing now to the mainstream public out there. Breaking news, as I'm editing this, I am just seeing a post saying that Pat McGrath Labs is going to be entering Ulta Beauty. So that's another thing to think about. She's entering Ulta Beauty, which actually gets a wider reach than Sephora, if I'm not mistaken. Like, it is more mainstream than Sephora. So I think that is also very interesting as well. She is trying to reach more consumers. So I feel like this was just a matter of time. So I wanted to mention that as well, that we can include in our discussion. She really wouldn't be releasing this palette if the data didn't show her that it was a good business decision. Businesses don't just launch products because it's fun. They launch products because they want to sell them, because they want to make money. And Pat McGrath has made it to a point now where, like, she's trying to grow her business. She's trying to get a good return on her investment. She has investors that she needs to answer to. So let me read you real quick this article from the Business of Fashion. I'll kind of summarize the beginning of the article just for time's sake, but I found this very interesting. Pat McGrath started her brand in 2015. If you recall, she launched those like really cool, like molten colored eyeshadow kits. I bought one. I was completely entranced by this brand when it first came out, especially as someone who's like a makeup lover. Then in 2018, she received an investment in her brand by a company called, I don't know if this is pronounced Eurazeo or Eurazeo, probably Eurazeo, right? Eurazeo. She received an investment from them in 2018 that valued her brand at $1 billion. A makeup brand. And she was considered kind of like an indie brand at that point. She hadn't been around for that long. She hadn't launched all these Mothership palettes. I mean, I think she launched in Sephora, sure, but she was still a relatively small brand, and she was valued at $1 billion. So then the rest of the article kind of talks about how she got her start and how her brand sort of blew up a little bit. And then it says here, the interest in glitter lips significantly tempered in the years since Eurazeo's investment. A post-pandemic return to beauty has turned the focus on newer artist-led makeup lines with founders who interface regularly with fans online, as well as a number of legacy brands that got a boost from viral promotion on TikTok. The brand's positioning hasn't evolved much since 2015, and a recent entry into skincare has met with a lukewarm reception. Despite a decent presence in Sephora, the brand isn't attracting the attention it used to. McGrath's brand line isn't the only one struggling to live up to its investors' expectations. Prior to the pandemic, a number of fast-growing makeup lines raised capital at $1 billion plus valuations, including Anastasia Beverly Hills, Huda Beauty, and Morphe. The latter, valued at over $2 billion, that's Morphe, in 2019, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in early January. Huda Beauty and Anastasia Beverly Hills have yet to see an exit. Despite Eurazeo's stake in the brand being small, it owned about 8% of the Pat McGrath Labs when it invested. The deal signaled something much larger. Frothy valuations, while initially attention-grabbing, ultimately put pressure on founders to scale their businesses at blistering speed. Pat McGrath's line, once groomed for a 10-figure exit, has become a cautionary tale. I thought this was super interesting. I always think about the business decisions behind things. I think a lot of us are saying, oh, she's not listening to her customers, this, and that. Of course she's not listening to us. She's listening to her investors. This kind of reminds me a lot of the tech industry. If you are new here, I have a day job that pays for all of my makeup and I work in tech. Years ago, we saw these huge valuations. Think of WeWork, for example. And then you see all these companies like really not returning and ending up being as big as we thought. You don't really see a lot of those like unicorn valuations happening that much anymore. And it seems like that's what happened with a lot of these beauty companies as well. This market is so incredibly saturated. She's not getting the attention that she used to. And she had a lot of pressure to grow very, very fast. And really the only way to do that, friends, is to appeal to the mass market. Now we're going into this sort of economic situation where a lot of people are buying less. A lot of people are not buying super colorful, fun, sparkly palettes, etc. And her brand has a higher price point. So she has to try and figure out how to cater to the masses. So I would love to hear all of your thoughts. Some of you guys were making some excellent points that Natasha Denona, for example, she still does a pretty good job of giving us at least like one creative palette a year. We still get our Circo Loco. We still get our Yucca palette. We still get our pastel palette, for example. Like she's still releasing some interesting things. By the way, I know there's like lots of other examples like Danessa Myricks. There's a lot of other makeup artist brands. I'm just using Natasha Denona as the example in this case. So I'm curious what her economic situation is, but definitely from Pat McGrath, just looking at the research that I've done so far, I think that she considers herself, or the brand considers themselves mainstream. And I don't really think that us as like the beauty enthusiasts are necessarily her target market, or at least not anymore. So let me know all of your thoughts. It's totally okay if you're like upset with this release. I totally get it. Let's all be respectful in the comments. I really just want this to be an interesting discussion. Are you going to be buying this palette? I will be picking it up because it's pretty. I want to review it. I'm a YouTuber. This is what I do for you guys. I do comparisons, but let me know. Let's start a little discussion in the comments. Woo! Are you still with me? I know that was a very long rant about Pat McGrath, but it's okay. We're gonna move on. We have Chanel to talk about. We have Dior. We have Tom Ford. We have legit so many good things to talk about in this episode, friends. I do have a quick little update here about the Chanel fall collection. We have some better swatches to take a look at, and I want to hear your thoughts because we're having some chats over on Instagram, and I want to bring it over here to YouTube because some of you guys don't have Instagram. So remember this release with the pretty blushes. We also are getting some loose eyeshadows. Here are some gorgeous, stunning close-ups of the blushes. We have kind of like that corally apricot looking one, and then we also have the beautiful mauve. These are still going to be a yes from me, just so you all know, but I do want to show you guys some close-ups of these swatches. Some people out there were saying they were disappointed with the swatches, saying that maybe they weren't pigmented enough. Some people were saying that the mauve blush looked like a bruise. I don't know, I think they still look cute. I mean, the thing about this kind of makeup, it's not as pigmented as, I don't know, like a Pat McGrath, for example. And so it's really all about how it looks on the cheeks. So I'm going to reserve my judgment for when I pick these up, and I will test them out and I will let you guys know if they are any good. But I still think that they look pretty. What I actually think looks even more pretty are the loose eyeshadows. So here are some swatches of what those look like. These are such pretty sophisticated autumnal tones. I'm still not sure which one I'm going to be picking up. Maybe 408. I kind of like how that is, what would you call that? Like a burgundy, like a brownish burgundy. I also really like the lightest one as well. I love a good kind of slightly frosty or champagne one and done eyeshadow. So I think those look really beautiful as well. Comment down below and let me know if there are specific colors that you want me to get, because I can always pick up the most popular colors. I also wanted to show you all we have some swatches and campaign images of the Byzance collection that I discussed in the last episode. Here we have, I think this is Vittoria Soretti. She's typically in a lot of their ad campaigns. She's such a beautiful model, and they I have featured here on her the like green and red palette. I don't know if I would personally wear this look, but I think the campaign looks super interesting. What's also interesting is that the eyeshadows look very pigmented in these campaign photos. I'm not so sure these are gonna be this pigmented in real life. I'll show you all some swatches that were recently posted by WZ Beauty. You should follow them on Instagram if you like these types of sneak peeks. The swatches don't look bad. Some people were saying that these are very light. I don't know. I'm still going to be picking up two, and I still think the ones I'm going to get are the one with the like plummy shades. It's called Parure Venetian, so Venetian, I suppose. And then I think I'm going to be getting Parure Imperial, which is the other one that has like the silver, or maybe that's a white, the peach, and the gold. Those are the ones that are turning my heads right now. You guys should also take a look at Chic Profile Official 3 because she has several. I think she actually might have all of the palettes, and every day she is posting more swatches and close-ups of a different palette. So far, she has posted swatches and images of the two like lighter, more neutral colored palettes. She's saying in the review that these are very light, kind of like a sheer wash of color, but the swatches look fine to me, friends. So I don't know. I'm still gonna pick these up and I will let you know my thoughts, but I just wanted to point you over to those Instagram accounts and show you some of the swatches to see if like maybe that changes your mind. I'm curious to see what you all think. Chantecaille has launched yet another cutesy little animal collection for us. This is the Wild Mustang collection for fall 2023. What do we have in this collection? Well, we have 4 of their single eyeshadows. All of them come in kind of like neutral shades. I can see a lot of my subscribers really liking these shades because some of them are a little bit like more cool tone and pewter, and all of them come in what we would expect from Chantecaille, some very cute packaging with little horsies with Mustangs on them. I do really like horses. I used to ride horses, so these are definitely tempting for me. And then we also have 2 of the lip veils in the shades Wild Begonia and Laurel, which makes me think that maybe these are re-promotes. Maybe these are re-promotes because they don't have little horsey names, that's for sure. Comment down below if you guys own any of these shades. This is going to be a pass for me. I let you guys know before, I'm not super impressed with the single eyeshadow formula from Chantecaille. There's plenty of things from Chantecaille that I really like. I know that their Sylvie sale, by the way, is launching soon. So make sure you guys are following me on Instagram because I'll be posting out some coupon codes and stuff like that. Speaking of, I just checked and you actually can access the Sylvie sale early, so I will put the coupon code down below that you can use to get 25% off. It is site-wide, I believe. I don't know if there are any exclusions, but I'm adding things to my cart and I'm able to get 25% off. I will also link down below any of the videos that I've filmed previously with recommendations of my favorite products and also my least favorite products from Chantecaille if you guys want to hear a little bit about that. That's the best time to buy Chantecaille, is when these products go on sale. I just saw the Wild Meadows collection. I posted this on Instagram over the weekend. The Wild Meadows collection, which was, I believe, for spring of this year, was 40% off on a site. So eventually, all like these collections are not, they're not like selling out, guys. You can get these a little bit later. So if this is outside your price range, you can just wait a little bit and probably get it on sale. But hey, if you are a horse fan, I absolutely understand why you might want this. If you're like a one and done eyeshadow fan, I totally get it because it is a very, very cute release. New from Tom Ford, we finally have something a little bit different, so I think some of you are going to be excited about this. These are 2 new colorful quads that are called the Runway Eyes Eye Color Quads. I think that these are limited edition. It does not say it here in the post, but I'm pretty sure that these are limited edition. We have 2 colorways. The first one is called number 43 Ambrosia, and that looks to be a mix of pinks, gold, and then I think that's a dark plum, kind of like a cassis, something of that nature. And then the other palette is number 44 Dark Opulence, and that is a mixture of a navy blue, a teal. We have what I think is like a black or a very dark cocoa brown, and then we have a nude shade. And I think that these have been released in some countries in Europe, but I will keep you guys updated. Make sure you are subscribed and follow me on Instagram if you want to hear about when these drop in the US and Canada, in other countries. Most of the links that I post, by the way, they are usually dynamic. I set them up so that whenever you click on them, it should adapt to whatever country you are in and kind of take you to your country site. So just putting that out there, friends. I try my best to like put the availability in there depending on your country, but at least for now, I'm fairly certain these are not launched in the US. I'll link wherever I can find them in the description box. Are these gonna be a pass or yes? I'm on the fence about, I'm on the fence about these because I've picked up 6 or 7 Tom Ford quads this year. Do the math, okay? That's like $90 a quad. I have paid over $600 on just Tom Ford eyeshadow this year. Not even Tom Ford Beauty as an entire brand. And these palettes, I definitely don't see myself getting as much use out of. I would like to hear from you all, my subscribers and viewers, on which of these palettes you would like me to review, because if there isn't a lot of interest from my subscribers, then I'm not gonna purchase it for review purposes. I think if I were to purchase any of these, it would be the pink one. It would be Ambrosia, because even though it is a pink palette, I like that it has a hot pink. I like that it has that purpley cassis color. I love that you can brighten it up with the gold. Like, it just looks very fun. And then the blue one is cute, but I just reviewed for you guys the blue palette from the YSL Mini Couture Clutch Collection, and I really liked that one. I can link that review down below. So I don't feel like I need another one of these. Like, I'm only going to have so many blue palettes, and you guys saw in that review in the comparison section, I already kind of am covered. Like, I already have a couple of those. But I think a lot of people are going to be excited that Tom Ford finally came out with something that's like not pink or not super duper neutral. And I think this is going to be a really fun, like, holiday-y time type of release. Like, it's not really a summer release. It's coming out more so for holiday. All of those collections are going to be dropping, by the way, in like end of August, beginning middle of September, which I know is crazy, but we're about there, friends. Like, we're about there. So comment down below. Let me know which of these, if any, you want me to review. I have another update for you all. Remember when we chatted about the Dior Fall 2023 collection? I told you all that this was going to be a pass for me because I just felt like these colors weren't all that interesting. A lot of you guys said the same. You said you were more interested in like maybe the blush. Well, I just wanted to show you guys some better images now, and also swatches of this collection, because once again, just like the Tom Ford, I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say. When I saw this image, I had a couple of thoughts. My first thought was, wow, the colorful palette with like the orange and the brown, that looks like a beautiful autumnal like bed of leaves. It looks so, so gorgeous. It looks way prettier than the other image, which looks incredibly dull, more red, more cool tone. This looks like a beautiful autumnal, like warm tone dream for me. And then the blush looks completely different once again from the promo photos. It looks extremely nude, almost like it would be a pressed powder. The lighter palette, I'm like, I don't even understand the purpose of this palette. It's just like 50 shades of beige. And then I saw this image, which is under different lighting. I guess I thought the same thing about the blush. It says it's called Grand Ball Satin, which I think Grand Ball is already an existing shade. So maybe this is just a re-promote. Maybe this isn't even a new blush at all. What do you guys think? Because I'm looking at this right now and it looks just like the Grand Ball shade that I picked up from Dior and then like later returned because I didn't really like the texture. I didn't really like the texture of it. I went and bought a different shade. But I think what struck me here, friends, are the swatches. Like the lighter palette, it looks like nothing. It looks like nothing. It is legit a little bit of brown, a little bit of nude, and then like 3 pearly white shades, which I know there's something out there for everybody, but that just looks like a complete waste of $65. And then the other palette, the warm toned one, doesn't look as scrumptious as the pumpkin spice dream that I showed you guys in the other photo. This looks like so orange, like so warm toned, so orangey. I don't know. I think maybe I've come full circle from like, I'm not getting this, so like maybe I'm getting this, to I'm not getting this. I have a lot of subscribers out there that don't like these super heavily warm toned, almost red leaning palettes. So please let me know all of your thoughts, guys. You can comment down below or DM me on Instagram to let me know what you're interested in. I'm just not super inspired by this fall collection from Dior, so I might save my monies and review something else for you all. I have just a couple more things to talk about here, friends. Next up, we have a new release from Suqqu. This is the Suqqu 20th anniversary collection, and this launches on September 15th. So we do have some time to save up for this and think about this. And what's interesting about this release is that we are getting some really interesting face palettes. These kind of remind me of like what Viseart recently did with like the two blushes and the little eyeshadow quad. So we are getting two face and eye palettes. One of them is on like the toastier, more nude side, and one of them is more of like a pinky color story. I will say I've seen some other photos of this on Instagram and they look far more beautiful than the images that you see here. We also have 3 face compacts. I'm not totally sure if these are kind of like color correcting, blurring powders that you would put all over the face, or if these are highlighters, but I'm very intrigued. And then we have a couple other things. It says a lip kit. Basically, you get 4 of their popular formulas in different shades. I think that's a really good idea. Like if you've never purchased anything from Suqqu before and you want to kind of try out their formulas, that's interesting. And I think it also makes a really good gift. This collection, I think this is also a maybe. I don't know why I'm so undecided in this episode, but I think this is going to be a maybe. If I were to get anything, it would be the eye and face palettes. I think it's really going to depend, friends, on how many other holiday collections I have to review. Suqqu can be a little bit tricky for me to review because I can't get the products fast enough before they sell out. And then it's like, what's the point? Like, I don't just buy makeup to enjoy for myself. I mostly buy it, well, because I do enjoy it myself, but also to review for my channel. Like, there's a purpose to the things that I buy. This, I'm not really sure. I don't know. I know I said I'm bored of pink palettes, but like the pink one, when I saw images, looks really, really beautiful. So once again, I think this is going to depend on how many of you all are interested in this. And then compared to the other holiday releases in my budget for September, which is like one of the biggest months, is going to depend on how much I have going on there. And then lastly, friends, I didn't get a chance to talk about this in the last episode because these episodes just get too long because y'all know I love to talk about makeup, but Hourglass did launch a new face tint, and it is what I'm wearing on my face today. I chatted about this a little bit in my recent video when I did a new makeup haul. It took forever to get to me, so I'm sorry, friends, but I am officially testing this out. It's on my face right now, so you guys can see how it's looking. I tested it out all weekend. I actually wore it to a special event yesterday to see how it would wear. So I'm gonna be testing this out for the rest of the week and expect a review from me coming up next week if you wanna hear all my thoughts. I try and make my foundation and concealer reviews very, very thorough and well tested. So a lot of you guys were asking me if I picked this up, so I thought I would include it. Comment down below if you got it. For now, I'm not watching any reviews because I want my review to be unbiased, but I am excited to test this out and let you guys know what I think. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. I hope that you enjoyed this little new makeup discussion. Now it is your turn. Sound off in those comments down below and let me know all of your thoughts. What do you think about the new Mothership XI? What do you think about the Dior fall collections, the holiday collections that are starting to come out? I would love to know what you think. And also don't forget to let me know what you want me to review. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. I will have whatever's on my face, whatever we talked about today, linked in the description box down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.